happening. It is not by happenstance that you are here today. It is not by happenstance that you are even in your field of study and how God wants to use that today, tomorrow, and in the future.
I've been having some internal feelings about some changes I need to make in my life. And I said, Lord, please help me, help me, help me, help me. And I've kept praying that for a whole week. I'm going to need something drastic in my life to change me.
I could do it, and really we need to be dependent on God through prayer. If you want to notice something unique about Nehemiah 1 and 2, they are bathed in prayer. That prayer actually precedes any desire to do a work of God.
And 2 days later, I was in a vehicle that somebody gave me, a 12-passenger, full-size diesel Ford van. A lot of times I go to garage sales. I'm winding around in this housing area looking for this garage sale, and I finally found it. And then I said, how do you get out of here? And they said, well, you go this way and go up there and go around it. And it was really confusing to me. And there are yield signs instead of stop signs. And I thought, wow, that's really strange. And I stop at this stop sign, and I look both directions, and there was no traffic. I mean, zero traffic. And so I go forward, and I hear this bang. It sounded like a shotgun going off. I thought, oh great, transmission again. So I hit my accelerator. Nothing, but I hear something dragging. I thought, oh great, it's the exhaust system. Now I've gone about half a block. I get out of the van and I look under, and I looked at the rear first. The exhaust system's not dragging. I pan to the front, and in between the front tires is a bicycle. And you can imagine the feeling that gripped me. And then I looked back and I saw a body laying in the intersection.
You feel really close to someone like your father, and then as you watch him go through something unimaginable, you suddenly feel like you don't know him, and you're watching him from this faraway place, and you just can't look away from him because all of a sudden this person doesn't look like the person you thought you knew because something happened there that you hadn't expected and that they hadn't expected, and you see they're deeply affected. I remember feeling really distant from my dad at that time just because I knew I could never get into that place and empathize with him.
If I had wanted to, and people do this all the time, I could have pulled up with my 2 tires on the curb, pulled the bike out from underneath, thrown it in the back of the van, and having been a state trooper, I know enough that I could have gotten away with it, and nobody ever would have known it was me. And I go back, and I've been to enough scenes also to know, because of the condition of this body, that this guy's not going to walk away. Not only is he not going to live, he's not going to walk away from here. I tried to get his head above his heart to stop some bleeding, and he just died. And so, you know, God prepares you for some things, but some things just never go away.
I was a teacher at a Christian school. In the office was Will Urschel and Jim, and Jim was really visibly upset, and then Will told me what happened. And I just really wanted to go out the door right now and go find that woman and say, we're sorry. We're not that kind of people that would try to do that on purpose. We are sorry.
And my attorney says, no, you can't talk to the family. Mary Lou and I wanted to go straight to the family. He said, oh, no, you can't talk to the family.
You have to wait a long time, if ever.
They're getting angrier and angrier, and I don't know they're getting angrier and angrier, and I want to fix what I can fix for them. And I'm trying to figure out, should I fight this? Shouldn't I fight it? And my attorneys keep saying, you can't talk to the family. It's going to be worse. Now the family thinks I don't care.
I wrote this on Sunday, and the trial was on Thursday. So this is like fresh 3 days after it. And my memory of that day even is so different than what I wrote in that essay, and I trust the essay more than I trust my memories. This was only my second time in our courthouse, even though it's so near to our apartment that its clock tower serves as our living room clock. Our pastor was there along with several men from the church who were always around when tough days come. I associate comfort with all of them, and they all gave me occasional grandpa hugs.
They're all there, and we're praying, And the Holy Spirit said, if you want to put this family through this, they're going to show pictures, they're going to make you look horrible, they're going to rip your family apart. Galen got finished praying. I just looked at Galen and I said, I'm not going to do this. And I had this really expensive attorney that comes out and said, okay, we're ready. And I looked at him and said, I'm not going to do this. Oh, you got to do it. We got a good case and all this kind of stuff. I said, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to wake up every morning next to my wife, and that lady's got nothing.
He handed me his wallet, and I didn't know what that meant. The kids didn't either.
So they unseated the jury, and I pled guilty to vehicular manslaughter. This is the first time the family is going to see me. They've never seen me. The television cameras were rolling, and this lady read the nastiest letter.
They read an essay they'd written that was really incriminating of my dad.
And how evil I was, and all the people don't always get away.
That he'd done it on purpose, and that he'd been so severely negligent. And it was just, to me, I was thinking, wow, I bet I'd be that mad too.
I kind of knew how she felt. When I was 4 years old, my dad burned up in a vehicle. And I remember a knock on our door, and my mother opened the door, and there's a policeman saying, your husband's been involved in an accident.
I remember just seeing their rage and totally getting it. I mean, not really getting it, but not thinking these people were unreasonable at all.
I'm sure I shed some tears, but I wasn't emotionally unglued.
When they put handcuffs on him and let him out, he didn't look at us. He's just going out like he's got his eye on this thing that's in front of him now, and he's not thinking about us at all. And I realized how outside of the situation I was. Like, this isn't about me at all.
So they handcuffed me and took me out of the courtroom. And it was really tough for my daughter. She said, I never saw anybody as brave as you were, Dad, that day.
I just remember going back to school that same day.
I'm pretty sure I went back to work too. I mean, I think it was the middle of the day. I just remember my students crying, wanting me to comfort them. I remember thinking, why do I have to tell this story over and over? And why do I have to help all these kids work through this?
And those kids, those teachers, the parents, the families just were praying for us. And it's like, it was still there, and it was still painful. It was still there about the loss. I just knew it wasn't up to anything I could do. It was bigger than us.
They were experiencing some of the same kinds of grief that all the rest of us were, to all different degrees.
You had that prayer support of the Christian families, the churches. I just have come through with a greater faith in the Christian community.
I don't think I'll ever really know how much I carry with me until it just pops back up again. I think this documentary has made it pop back up again. I haven't read this essay in the last decade. I know, too, that a way that I cope with hard things is I don't think about them. I kind of erase them. Praise God from whom all blessings flow.
People have faith around you and are willing to come along beside you and lift you up when you need lifted up, and allow you to do the same thing when other people need lifted up. Wow. Whew. That's almost hard to take, isn't it? That's almost unbearable. Praise God.